Think back to the first iPhone. One button, a handful of built-in apps, a grid of icons, and nothing else going on. You could hand it to almost anyone, and within a minute they'd know how to use it. Now, look at your phone today. Settings inside settings, inside settings, notifications from 20 different apps, widgets, Face ID, focus modes, iCloud, everything. A control center you have to swipe just right to open. Somewhere along the way, the simplest piece of technology most of us own became one of the most complicated. Today I want to walk through how that happened and why it often feels overwhelming, and most importantly, a simple strategy you can use starting today to make your iPhone or iPad feel easy again. Hi, my name is Rich and I make easy to follow videos on how to use your iPhone and iPad without going nuts. Especially today's video. As I get ready for the new iPhone software and a batch of new iPhones all just around the corner, I do get excited. But I'm also fatigued from an ever-changing way my iPhone works. I just want it to be simple and do the basics without much fuss. And that's what this video is about. It's a strategy video as much as anything else, and I'll admit it's my strategy, so it may not work for you, and that's fine. But if you find your iPhone or iPad a little frustrating to use at times, then stick with me for a few minutes while I rant, and then we'll get straight to the fix, or at least the fix that works for me. The first iPhone launched in 2007. It made calls, played music, browsed the web, and sent text. That's basically it. There was no App Store yet. That came a year later in 2008. Once the App Store opened, everything changed. Suddenly, there wasn't one iPhone experience. There were millions of them because everyone could load their phone up with whatever apps they wanted. That was exciting, but it also planted the seed of the problem we have today: choice without limit. From there, Apple kept adding features almost every single year: multitasking, Notification Center, Siri, Touch ID, then Face ID. The App Store grew from a few hundred apps to over 1 million. iOS added widgets, then focus modes, then more granular privacy permissions, which sound great, but now every app asks you 6 different questions before you can even use it. Allow location, allow notifications, allow tracking, allow Bluetooth. I'm tired of apps tapping me on the shoulder non-stop wanting to tell me something. Now, none of these individual features were bad ideas. Each one on its own solved a real problem. Face ID is more secure than a passcode. Focus modes really can cut down on interruptions, but nobody ever went back and removed anything. Every year is addition, never subtraction. That's how you end up with a device that has 30 years of feature creep packed into less than 20 years of existence. And it's not just Apple. Every app you install brings its own settings, its own notifications, its own logins, its own updates. Your phone isn't just one complicated system, it's hundreds of separate complicated systems, all installed on the same 6-inch screen. There's a term for what a lot of us feel when we open our phone's settings app or scroll through the App Store, and it's the tyranny of choice, sometimes called choice overloads. It's a well-documented idea in psychology. The more options you're given, the harder a decision becomes, and often the less satisfied you are with whatever you pick. Your iPhone is the gateway to the App Store where the choices are almost unlimited. Open the App Store and search for Notes app and you'll find dozens of nearly identical options. Open Settings and you'll find toggles for things most people have never heard of and never will. Every app wants permission for something. Every software update adds a new feature you have to learn, ignore, or turn off. This is exhausting in a very specific way. It's not that any single decision is hard. It's just that there are so many small decisions all day, every day, that decision fatigue sets in. And when we're fatigued, we tend to do one of two things. We freeze and avoid the phone altogether, or we just accept whatever default settings and pop-ups come our way without really understanding what we agreed to. And neither of those is a great outcome. So the goal isn't to master every feature Apple has ever shipped. Nobody does that, not even people who review this stuff for a living like me. The goal is to build a small, deliberate set of habits that let you ignore almost everything else with a clear conscience. Here's the approach I recommend, and it comes down to 4 ideas. Fewer apps, fewer notifications, one home screen that matters, and permission to ignore the rest. First, fewer apps. You do not need to use or even keep every app you've ever downloaded. Go through your home screen once and ask a simple question for each app. Have I opened this in the last 2 months? If not, delete it. This isn't about being trendy or minimalist for its own sake. It's about reducing the number of things that can send you a notification, ask for an update, or clutter your search results. A phone with 40 apps you actually use is far less overwhelming than a phone with 200 apps you mostly forgot about. And if you've watched any of my videos, you know I just keep everything in the app library so that I have a clean home screen, and I'll get to that in just a minute. The second thing is fewer notifications. This is probably the single highest impact change you can make. Go to Settings, then Notifications, and go app by app. For anything that isn't truly time sensitive, think, stuff like banking alerts or messages from family or calendar reminders, turn notifications off. You don't need a notification every time a shopping app has a sale or a game wants you to come back. Every notification is a tiny interruption and a tiny decision. Do I look at this now or not? Cut the number of those decisions down and the whole phone feels calmer. Third, build one home screen that matters. Instead of trying to organize every app on your own, pick your home screen, just the first page, and put only the 8 or 10 apps you use daily there. Phone, messages, camera, photos, maps, whatever your essentials are. Move everything else to the app library, which is that screen furthest to the right where iOS automatically sorts every app you own into categories. You can still find anything by swiping over and searching, but your main screen, the one you see every time you pick up your phone, stays calm and predictable. For me, this change alone has made using my iPhone so much better. Fourth, and maybe the most important, just give yourself permission to ignore the rest. I know this sounds weird coming from a guy who makes a video on how to use your iPhone and iPad, but you do not need to learn what every setting does. You do not need to try every new feature Apple announces. When iOS releases a big update, most of what's new is aimed at power users, developers, or very specific situations that don't apply to you, or to me for that matter. It's completely fine to update your phone for security purposes and then simply keep using it exactly the way you already know how. You're not falling behind by not using focus filters or live voicemail or whatever the newest feature happens to be. Technology companies benefit when you feel like you need to keep up with everything, and I just don't think you do. You don't. One more small but powerful trick. If you're ever unsure what a pop-up or permission request is asking, it's always safe to just choose Don't Allow and see what happens. Almost nothing on an iPhone breaks permanently from picking the more cautious option. You can always change your mind later in Settings. The iPhone became complicated because it succeeded, because millions of developers and Apple itself kept building more into it year after year without ever taking anything away. That complexity is real, and it feels overwhelming sometimes. And that's not a sign that you're bad with technology. It's just a sign that technology grew faster than any one person reasonably needs it to. The fix isn't to learn everything. It's to choose less on purpose. Fewer apps, fewer notifications, one simple home screen, and the confidence to ignore whatever doesn't serve you. Do that, and the same phone that felt like it was fighting you starts to feel like it's actually working for you again. If this was helpful, let me know in the comments what part of the iPhone or iPad feels the most overwhelming to you. I'd really like to know. Okay, that's it for today. I'm off my soapbox. I hope you found this little tutorial helpful. If you want to keep your iPhone and iPad simple, this is the place to be. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.